There are creatures in America that can kill you.
Like me.
Like Nick Dawkins. Don't let Nick run into you.
We have Ayers Rock back home, Uluru, and it's like a big red rock in the middle of the country.
He was so excited to tell me when he...
Yeah, this was ridiculous, actually.
He's
I
like,
was so
yo,
pumped.
we got this big rock. Like, we always visit this big rock. People come and, like, they come to this rock, and it's amazing, and all that. Rock.
All right, everybody, big news coming out of the Lion's Den podcast. We officially have our own merch that we're getting ready to put out. Make sure to go cop yours. Link is in the description below. These proceeds help us produce this podcast, bring on A-list guests, and these proceeds also help Penn State NIL as a whole. Go get yours and tag us on social media. We'll give you a shout out on the pod. Looking forward to seeing you wearing the Lion's Den merch exclusively.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to episode whatever, because we're back.
Look, let's address this right now. Student athletes, at the end of the day, we try to come on here and be, as transparent with y'all as possible. And the reality of it is we are student athletes, and life gets in the way, school gets in the way, football gets in the way. So we try to get content out as much as we can, but sometimes our schedules get in the way. So we'll just address that. More importantly, let's get to the most important part of it. We got Riley Thompson from Melbourne, Australia, the main man, the man of the hour. Also my beautiful, ugly co-hosts, Aeneas Hawkins and Jerry Cross. But Riley, let's get right into the thick of it. Coming from Australia, went to FAU, we're in Florida for a little bit. First taste of America, now to Penn State. How's it been? How's the process?
It's been pretty weird. I'm not going to lie. Like, I came over 5 days before fall camp and went straight into that. And it was just a whirlwind. I was actually telling this story to someone the other day. I was like, it was the first practice Friday night. I was crapping myself. Like, I was so scared. I had no idea what to expect. Comes up to punt period. They're like, all right, you're just going to go over with the shield, like, work with the shield and, like, just work it out with them, like, get used to it all. And I was literally looked at my special teams coach and I said, what is a shield? And he looked back and went, like, this kid has no idea. So, yeah, it's definitely was like, it was a lot to get used to it. I didn't know a whole lot about the game. So I've slowly learned, and I feel like I'm getting a lot better now. But, yeah, it was definitely a crazy transition.
And do you want to explain to the people what the shield is and maybe who's on the shield and who your favorite people on the shield?
Yeah, this is actually kind of crazy. I just, went and bought a bunch of snacks for the shield members. It's Theo, Ty Warren, and the big dork over here. They're my protectors when I punt. It's a rough job. They've got guys just screaming at them from the front line. So it's a pretty rough gig, and I do really appreciate what you guys do, especially because it's a tough task and keep me safe. So, no, it was big time. I hope you enjoy the candy that I got for you.
We got imported precious goods coming over from overseas, man. We got to protect that, man. I don't take that
You
job
got the
lightly.
snacks from Australia for them?
Yeah, I did get a couple of cheeky ones from Australia. So
Cheeky?
yeah, they're cheeky. I think you like the cheeky.
So we had Zane Durant on, and we're not going to get back into what he was saying. What is a cheeky snack?
I mean, it's just like throwing cheeky in front of something. That's just what we do. Like, it's a...
But what does it imply? What
does cheeky mean? Like,
you don't even know what cheeky means?
what does it mean?
Nah, when I hear cheeky, I'm thinking of some things, you know what I mean? So, like...
No, so cheeky's like, just kind of like sneaky, like a little bit sneaky.
Okay.
A bit squirrely, like... I don't know. That's
It's a sneaky snack.
Like, I don't even know how to, like, explain it because I've, like, said it for so long and it's just,
ingrained.
like, it's just second nature for me to say. But, yeah, the boys, Cheeky does... Ty Warren's a big fan of the cheeky call. He likes that. Yeah, cheeky tight end.
So, please, don't.
No, please, after you.
No, I was just, we talk about the shield. You got to be big, strong, and physical to be on the shield, but Nick Dawkins is perfect for that. Not only is he big and strong, but he's got such a deep, powerful voice. He's giving those call-outs. He's getting the ball snapped, getting guys in the right protection. How is Nick Dawkins? How have you seen him grow up in that role since you've been here?
It's kind of weird. Like, I think there was one practice that the big dog wasn't there, and it was different. Like, it didn't feel like he's like the centerpiece. Like, when you hear the call, it's like, okay, like, feel safe. Like, I know where I'm at. I know what I'm doing.
His voice is comforting that way.
Oh, it's really nice. Yeah,
it is. I remember living with him, and he'd come home and he'd announce himself, and I would immediately feel safer because Doc had come back to the yards at Old State.
So did that play in the Batman role or like?
I think that was the inception of it. Maybe it started there. He was the Batman in our house first before he took State College over.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'll diagnose this on a couple different fronts. Let's go with the first dynamic here. Hawk knows, I like to joke around with play on Hawk a little bit. So he tries to kill me with kindness, give me compliments, hoping to receive them back. He will not get one back. He's not getting a compliment back right now, not this hour. Two, I appreciate you bringing up the Batman role. We try to keep that low key.
It's not low key because We talked about it multiple times already.
He actually was the one that brought it up multiple times.
actually
Like again, I'm trying to be humble here. You know what I mean? And I just let's try to keep that to a minimal.
Okay.
You know, my work and what I do in State College. I mean, Batman, what he does in State College.
Wow.
We let him do his thing, and I think we all appreciate it.
I was hearing he wasn't doing a good enough job.
Who'd you hear that from?
Everyone.
I need a name.
I'm not telling you that.
Yeah, Batman will probably figure out who that was.
I have a real question there. If you're claiming this like Batman's protecting the city, but then we saw Tyler Elsdon on the earlier episode, he was like the protector of the house.
Yeah.
What's the ranking there?
I'll tell you this.
Who are you taking?
Again, like I said, I'm not Batman. There is Batman out there, so let's finish that off first.
Okay.
Secondly, I feel like just on a separate note, like in houses, like you have to give people that dynamic to keep an identity. If I were a superhero, I would want to keep my identity clean. I would let someone think that they had that role. But at the end of the day, like you want to have that to conceal your identity. But if the bullets started flying, I'm sure if I were Batman, I would probably go ahead and take care of that in a smooth demeanor.
Hypothetically, of course.
Yeah, hypothetically. But don't interview me. We're interviewing you.
I had to step in, and I was curious.
You come to America. Your first taste of America is Boca Raton, Florida. Yeah. How were your experiences? Is that what you thought the United States would be like when you were in Australia? What were you thinking?
I mean, I don't know. I actually had like no idea really what to expect. I was kind of just like, whatever happens. Like, I'll just play it how it goes. Like, it is what it is. I've always loved like sport, and being part of the team. So I knew like my teammates I was going to be close with and have a like good connection with and everything like that. But it's a pretty wild place, Florida. It's different. Like coming to state, like for me, I kind of went and was like, oh wow, this is like what America's like. Like this is what America seemed like it was going to be. And now like coming here, I'm kind of like, yeah, it is. It's very different.
So can I ask you, was there a moment when you were in Florida where you were like, one moment where you were more shocked at what you had seen or witnessed than ever? Like, was there a moment?
I don't know if there was an exact moment, but like when you go to like some of the areas and like, it gets a bit late. There's like definitely like I feel like some sketchy people around.
The hood. It's Riley went to the hood.
The hood.
I was like, yeah, this is pretty wild. Like, I don't know. It's just a little bit different to back home, and like everything's bigger and like just like I do remember actually. Now there was one time where we went out to this place. I think it was after a game. We had a big win. I think it was Halloween weekend. This place down in Fort Lauderdale. And it looked like pretty small, whatever, like didn't look too big, paid my entry, go in, and then it opened up and I was just like, oh my God, like it was just people everywhere. There was like multiple sections. I was like, yeah, this is different. Yeah. I was like, this is just another magnitude of like people and like how big things are here.
So maybe in Australia you don't have hoods to worry about, but I've been seeing this thing on TikTok, and it's been specifically about kangaroos, right? Yes. And I don't know much. I've never encountered a kangaroo myself, but from what I understand now, is that they can be a little bit aggressive. Like, they will challenge you. I've seen them grab people's dogs. I've seen the viral video of the guy punching the kangaroo to get his dog back. Have you had any close calls with kangaroos?
We recently talked about this.
We have been talking about the kangaroos. It comes up often, like in the locker room. The spiders in particular, more so the spiders. But the kangaroos, I mean, you see them, they're just like hopping around out there. Unless you like go and do something to them, you're fine. Like, it's not going to happen. And I'd say this to a lot of people. Where I live is like, it's like kind of like a community like this a little bit. It's a little bit closer to like a bigger city, but it's more so like there's no like bushland or kangaroos or like big snakes or anything. It's just like a normal community. And I think people like kind of just like think, oh, we're going to Australia, like it's the outback animals and everything like that. But everyone lives on the coast. So it's kind of like, if like when you're out on the coast, it's pretty normal, pretty like more like America, I'd say. And then once you go inland into like kind of like the outback type area, that's when it gets kind of crazy. But the kangaroos aren't going to do anything to you. You'll be fine. You wouldn't want to fight one though.
No, I mean they're big.
They're big. They get to like 8 foot, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and they got like claws on them, man. Yeah. They're like big and physical creatures. I thought they were just kind of cute and cuddly growing up, and that was kind of a misconception.
Yeah.
No, they're bad boys.
They're bad boys.
If you push them the wrong way, yeah, you're in trouble.
What's the deal with the spiders? I'm missing that.
Spiders. You're a fan of spiders.
Jerry loves the spiders.
Yeah. You love spiders, Jerry?
Spiders.
Yeah.
Spiders.
Spiders.
Okay.
SPIDA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Spiders.
Yeah, okay. Whatever difference that is, we'll follow up on that.
I mean, you don't like, they're not out as much as you think. Like, you'll see them occasionally, like, you probably see like one big one a year. Like, you see like daddy long legs around and whatever, but that's nothing. Like, if I see one of those, I'll probably just like put a cup over it, put the paper under it, and then throw it outside, let it go. But like, when you see the big huntsmans, I've probably seen like one in my life. My whole life.
A huntsman?
Yeah,
What is that?
a huntsman.
Yeah, what
They're
is
like
it?
this big.
I've never seen one.
Wait, is that with the legs or the body is that big?
No, that's the whole thing. The
Okay.
whole thing's like
Still
that.
giant, though.
That's
Yeah,
a big
big
boy.
spider.
Yeah, I don't. When I was younger, I hated spiders, but as I got older, I kind of was like, yeah, whatever.
Okay.
But if you see one of those, you're like, all right, let's get this puppy out of the house.
Yeah,
So, like, what would you do if you seen one in your house? Like, so say you chilling and there's a spider on the wall. It's one of those. What would you do? Like,
You
what
just
do
like get like a pot or like a glass and like you put it over that and then you slide the paper underneath. So then it's like trapped inside and can't get out. And then you open the door and just throw it out and let it go.
I'd burn the whole house down.
Yeah.
No, you can't. You gotta. It's a living creature. Just let it go. It's not
Yeah,
gonna do anything
look,
to
It'll
you.
kill you.
The snakes, on the other hand, no dice.
No dice. No dice.
No dice.
They'll literally kill you.
Yeah, they will.
Okay.
Yeah, I was talking about the king brown to someone else. It's like the deadliest snake in Australia.
The king brown?
The king brown is what it's called. That's a bad boy. That's not good.
Like back to so we got the huntsman spider, and the king brown. Yeah, nah, absolutely not. I don't like the delegations that these animals and these creatures and bugs are getting deep. That's ridiculous.
I've encountered a king brown one time in my life. Well, as I like my holiday, like we go down to have holidays, like this caravan park, we go down there and there's like a community area, but it's kind of in like the bush a little bit. And I go in in like the bush, which is like
the woods and
the
stuff.
forest and
okay.
whatever. And then so we go into like the community area and open the door and there's just king brown sitting in there. And I just closed the door and said, no thanks. And I left. They got someone in to get it out. But if that bites you, yeah, it takes 30 minutes for like the venom to like go up through your legs, up into your body, into your brain to kill you. So you're done.
So, okay.
Yeah, nah,
Let's backtrack a little bit because you're speaking about these things very, very casually. There are creatures in America that can kill you.
like me.
Like Nick Dawkins. Don't let Nick run into you or else you might be in trouble. But on a serious note, like, do you leave your house like aware that there are things out here that are very real that can put me down in Australia? Like, it's not a thought that you have. I feel like that'd be the only thing I thought about if I visited Australia.
Nah, because I promise, like when you get there, you'd look around and be like, oh, this is a city. Like this is like a natural suburb place. You go into the Outback and you're like, okay, there's gonna be stuff.
So it's just
around
out in
here.
Outback.
Yeah, just when you go out there.
So can I
Describe
ask,
the Outback. Yeah, what is the Outback?
It's like a desert.
Steakhouse?
It's like a.
Because I be at Outback all the time.
No, it's not the Outback Steakhouse. It's like dry desert sand, bush. Like there's not a lot out there. Like I was telling someone about, we have Ayers Rock back home, Uluru, and it's like a big red rock in the middle of the country. That's it.
He was so excited to tell me when he.
Yeah, this was ridiculous. Actually,
He's
I
like,
was so
"Yo,
pumped.
we got this big rock. Like we always visit this big rock." I'm like,
We don't always visit it. I didn't say we always visit it. I said rock. Yeah, it's like
rock.
iconic.
People come and like they come to this rock and it's amazing
you
and
say
all
rock?
that rock. I'm like, what's going on? Like, I'm like, let me see this rock. Like, let me see what's going on with this rock that's making it so appetizing that people want to come and see what it is. And it's really just as like a huge like rock. That's all it is.
But it's like, don't say it's like a huge rock, like a boulder. It's like massive. It's huge.
How big? If you had to estimate how big this rock was.
It's big.
Yeah.
Like I'm saying, like you would look like that next to it.
Okay, so
It's like a giant rock. Like you have to like they used to be able to climb it, and you have to like harness in. Because if you fall, you die.
You're done for.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I'll tell you what, 3 letters for you, man. USA, Grand Canyon, Mount Rushmore.
You're not worried about a rock.
I'm not worried about a
So
rock.
do you take
And we
offense to
carve
that when he gets to
mountains.
talking like that?
He's pretty disrespectful a lot, actually.
No, I agree.
It's crazy.
On this show, Nick Dawkins
crazy.
has disrespected me at every opportunity he's had, actually.
Yeah, it's
Anytime he
ridiculous.
gets the chance, he's going to disrespect. That's kind of his staple.
If I'm you, I'm scared because I've not even leaped at the amount of times that I could have, and I decided not to do that. And I think that's more of a testament to my character than yours. And let's just
This is
dissect
why you
that
can't
right
right now.
But he has one reply. Like when you go at him, he'll just be like, "Shut up," and then that's it. And I'm like,
That is his go-to.
I'm like, what do
I
you
know
mean?
exactly what you
Yeah.
mean. That's exactly
I'm like,
how he
what?
says that, too. Shut up.
yeah, you just lost, and now you're just like, I'm done with you. That's what it's
Be
like.
consistent. Obviously, you only came with one bullet, man. I need. If you're gonna step up to me, come with a lot of bullets and
many
maybe a
bullets do
rocket
you need?
launcher. You know what I mean? How many bullets do I need?
Yeah.
Man, I got unlimited ammo, man. You know what I mean? That's
What
just
are we
big
talking
dog.
about?
That's just me, man. I'll talk to a brick and it's gonna talk back, man. That's just who I am. So you know what I mean? I come with endless ammo, infinite ammo. So if you're gonna come to me, step to me, you better be prepared for a knife fight or a gun. Bring a gun to a knife fight. You trying to fight me? That's all I'll say. But let's get back to you. Man. Let's talk about you. Stop talking about me. Stop segueing this to me. How did you get to American football? How did you get to punting?
It was pretty crazy. So it was back home. My friend, he found this organization, Pro Kick, because he played AFL professionally, like our national sport. And then he decided to go down Pro Kick to get an education. And he was at the park kicking. He's like, oh, just come down, have a kick. Like, wasn't anything serious about it. And we were just going to kick like the actual footy, what I call footy, which is like an AFL ball. And then he was like, I have the NFL balls. We start punting. And he's like, oh, you're actually not bad. Like, you're better than a lot of like the guys down there. You should come down and just see how you go. Like, just see, like, you naturally you can do it. And I was like, all right. So then we kind of like got some film together. I sent it to the guys at Pro Kick. And they were like, they said, yeah, come down. Like, we'd love to have you on. Like, we can train you up. We can get you out. So just basically trained with them. And then eventually it got to like the start of the 2022 year. And then I was like, okay, I need to get over there now because I'd started university. So my clock had started.
Right. Yeah.
So they were like, we need to get you out and get you there. And one of the guys ended up leaving FAU, who I'm really close with now, Matt Habel, who's at Vanderbilt. He left, and they were like, we need to fill this spot with someone else. And they kind of went back and forth about him leaving. And then eventually they came and were like, okay, we'll give like this kid, he's ready to go. He can play for you. And that was it. And I went. And then the documents was kind of wild, like that all getting done. So I didn't actually get there like 5 days until fall camp started.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like hungover trying to fight through fall camp, as you know, is a battle in itself. Not as much. You didn't know what to expect. Yeah, I didn't know what to expect, and they're like, "Yeah, you'll be here at 7 and you'll leave at 11," and I was like, "This can't be real."
You're in the military.
Yeah, I was like, "What is happening?" But yeah, then played 6 months there, had an absolute ball in Florida, and then yeah, obviously. School was like my main priority. I've done a lot. I've been in secondary education now for like 7 years now. I think it's been all up like part-time and not part-time. So yeah, it's been a long time, and I was like, I want to get this degree in this field, and Penn State were providing that. So that was the whole reason I moved.
That first camp is tough for everybody. I think you guys can speak to that too. It's not a joke at all. It's a grind. But you had the first camp plus you had left Australia for the first time. Do you feel like in the middle of camp you got hit with some homesickness? Like, man, like this is really, really a grind I've signed myself up for.
I think the camp was like the best thing that could have happened for me because I was like, you're always like I was either sleeping at football or with the boys. Like it was one of the three. And it was like, I didn't have time to even think about my family or like my friends back home or whatever. It was just like, I was trying to do my best to like get ready to start the season in a couple of weeks. So I think it was like one of the best things for me, definitely.
Can you explain to the people too what AFL is?
So it's basically like a combination of like a whole bunch of sports, but the best way I can describe it is it's like a field, probably three, if you took 3 NFL fields and went like 2 next to each other and one on the end, but in an oval, that's the field. So it's big.
Yeah, I can't even imagine that. Like I'm sure that was an accurate representation of what it is, but I still can't even picture that in my mind what that looks like.
So it's like, like walking out to the lash, like those 3 ovals, the whole thing is the field.
Wow.
Basically.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
With goalposts at the end.
Yeah.
And no pads, no helmets, like nothing. And then basically what you have to do is like, imagine you're the quarterback and you have like wide receivers everywhere. You have to like, instead of throwing to them, you have to kick it to them.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's nuts.
But then like, if the ball hits the ground, whatever, it's full tackling. Like you're going at it like as if you would in college football.
So not only can you punt then probably, but you have a lot of experience tackling guys growing up playing that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. A lot of like the guys are like, oh, you'd be able to tackle, like it's all sweet. And I'm like, yeah. Take the pads and helmets off, and I'm like, I'll go like 100%. As soon as the pads and helmet comes on, I'm kind of like, I don't know how I feel about it. I just don't like it.
It's tougher for you with pads and helmets.
Definitely, it's different. It's a lot different.
That's interesting. Yeah, I played rugby in high school. I remember. What did I just say?
Imagine
Welcome to the Lions Den. I did play rugby, right? So I got called. I walked by practice one day on accident after school. I was going to my granddad's car. He was there to pick me up, and the coach is like, "Where are you going?" And I'm like, "I'm going home." And he threw me a mouthpiece. Was like, "Yo, come try this." So I played rugby for a year. It was great. I was pretty good. But it's a transition, so you're trying not to laugh.
So you're saying you're going back.
What kind of
you're going from
moment
pads
is
and
that?
helmet to non-pads and helmet.
Non-pads and helmet.
Yeah.
So for me, I felt like tackling was the same in some sense, was I was comfortable tackling without The pads and helmet on, but I feel like if I were to start with no pads and helmet, then to put it on, you would think that maybe you would feel safer and you would feel more equipped to go do that, but you didn't have that.
Nah, yeah, it's weird. I feel like I feel safe, but like the other thing is like we tackle really differently to how people tackle in the NFL, like in college football. So it's kind of like it's weird. It'd be weird like trying to tackle someone without like, because like I know what to expect when I'm like tackling someone back home. Like here it's so different. Like people are like clipping legs and stuff like that. So it's like it's a lot different.
It's a different. Yeah,
it's crazy.
Sense. And that, I mean, I don't know what are the athletes in the AFL like? Did you see some kids that were really athletic and tough to stop?
Katron Allens and
is Nick Singleton somewhere hanging out?
That's the thing. I was like, I talked to a bunch of guys, and I'm just like, I would love to just like teach you how to play AFL, and then I'll be like, yeah, we'll send you off to the pros, and then I'll be your manager, and it's like all sweet. Just start like a little like thing going on where it's like bring him back, train him up, put him in. Be like Mason Cox. I don't know if you know him. No, but he did the transition from like he was basketball and then went to footy and now plays in the pros back home. Jeez. He's doing well, which is good. Yeah. But yeah, I'd love to see a few of the boys. There's no Katron Allens.
No Katron.
I do think about him running at me full steam and what
would you do?
Are you tackling Katron? I don't know. One-on-one?
I don't know. I think like we saw a video of him literally dragging a player.
Yeah.
Like if
players.
He was dragging them and they were just holding on. So like me, I don't think I'm any shot.
And these are grown men. Like these are guys who do the same workouts we do.
These
and,
are
like
Power 5 athletes
trying to provide for their family, getting drugged by another. And he's a grown man. He's a sophomore, like another grown man sophomore.
That's
dragging people.
Let's real quick pause and get into the Maryland game. I'm not on the team anymore. I just got the perspective from the outside looking in. I know we have a bunch of guys from Maryland, so I always know that game is a lot of high energy. It's a big game. People enjoy it. From snap one, it was evident that you guys were trying to set the tone and you wanted to be the more physical team and obviously did that successfully. The scoreboard reflected that. What was the mindset like going into the week?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we approach every week as is like a normal game week at faceless opponents, 1-0. But just in general with that game and that atmosphere, when we came in, it felt like a home game.
Yeah.
We walked in, they're screaming, "We are Penn State." There was more white in the crowd than there were red and yellow. And so I think when you have you feel that, and you have guys from Maryland, DMV, and I think there's like a big PSU, Maryland like recruiting war and all that stuff, and it just it creates like a war. It creates that war. It creates like a dynamic of just guys from similar areas. Now you're at this grand stage, like who's worked harder, who's this and who's that.
Yeah.
And I know our DMV guys don't play around when it comes to that stuff.
No, those DMV guys like Devon and Kurt and them, PJ was the same way. Like you start talking. I mean, we had Kurt on. We brought up DMV football, and he got emotional.
Yeah,
talking about it. They take it serious.
What is DMV?
DC, Maryland, Virginia. There's that's a big. Like Washington D.C., Maryland, Virginia are in this triangle kind of.
Yeah,
the same area. So they call it the DMV guys. Like that's where a lot of good football is being played at. Nowhere near where the football is being played in Allentown, Pennsylvania, or anything like that. But they have big football that's being played there, and like a lot of guys go Division I out of there, stuff like that.
Yeah,
so it's pretty good.
Now I wanna ask Riley. You started at FAU. We kind of covered that a little bit in your transition there, but you come to Penn State. What was that transition like? You go from FAU to a big Power 5, Big Ten, Coach Franklin, all the allure of Penn State football. What was that like for you?
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. I remember I left FAU. FAU, I loved it, had a ball there, but obviously academically wise, I wanted to go down this path, and Penn State worked out really well. And I was talking to Dad, and Dad's like, "Oh, you do know it's college town, blah blah blah." I was like, "Yeah, I know, but this is what I want to do. This is where I want to play football." And I came and looked at the town. I was like, "Yeah, a bit small, but we can work with it. We'll make it work." And then I remember we drove to the stadium, and I walked in, and I just looked and went, "This is nuts." I was just like, "This is insane." I still remember the first game. I was so grateful that my family were able to be here for that one too. But I just remember we were all talking after the game. We're just who would have thought this is where my life went? Because I was just I never would have thought playing in front of 110,000 people would ever be a realistic goal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the family atmosphere that we have here. It really is everyone really has a deep love for every single person in the building and really wants the best for every single person. And I think that's really hard to find. So that was awesome. And I was really grateful for that.
Were there any nerves on that first punt?
Yeah, I can't lie, there were a little bit. It was funny. It was more so the nerves weren't the people watching it was more like I didn't want to let the team down. Like I think that's the thing that weighs on me heavily the most is not so much like the fans or like what people have to say. It's like I play for like my family and for my teammates, and it's like if I'm not like doing my best, that's the people I feel let down. And I think there's no greater hurt than letting like the people that are closest to you down. So I think for me that was kind of the main thing that I was like, oh, like I don't want to let these people down. Like I haven't really done anything here. Like I need to do my best. And I think it kind of took me a little while to like kind of like figure myself out a little bit and my like game plan and how I would play games. And it was definitely a whirlwind in the first like couple of weeks, but I feel like I've slowly like worked on it a lot and kind of found my pace a bit more.
Yeah, sure.
I was just listening.
He tells a good story.
Yeah,
man. It's easy to listen to. Easy to listen to. Go ahead, dog.
So, like, I want you to go into a little bit of the dynamic of punting because we have multiple styles of punting, and right now, I mean, it's no secret Australians are taking over college football with that roll style punt. But you also are real good at pocket punting. You want to explain a little bit the dynamics of both of those?
Yeah. So originally, when you go down, like for me talking like pro kick, like going to pro kick and kind of my journey, when you go down, you learn how to like pocket punt. That's the first thing you learn because it's like the basis of punting. So that's kind of the more like, because we don't really kick like that. As you like through my kicking where I kick it and it goes end over end, that's like how we kick balls like our whole life. So you kind of learn how to pocket punt, and I like really like the pocket punting. Like I really got into it, and that's what I did last year. I was a pocket punter. And then this year we've moved to roll style, where you kind of roll out. We do still pocket, which is good. I like going back to the pocket. It's always fun to mix it up.
And pocket punting, and you want to explain, pocket punting is like that's a traditional.
The traditional American style where you just walk the 2 steps and hit the spiral.
How do you get it to spiral though? Like, what is the technique to that?
You kind of, like, it depends. Like, this is the thing, like, because I come from a Aussie football's background, I spiral very differently to, say, Gabe and Baketa, who also punt. They're, like, we hold the ball differently. Like, so for me, it's kind of like, you kind of learn through kicking. Like, my style wasn't really, like, you learn the basics, but more so it was kind of like a natural feel of how, like, I can get it to work myself. And then the rollout, like, when I kick end over end, it's kind of just like, it's just what we do our whole lives. Like, we kick it like that. That's how we pass the ball to each other. So it's more so like you're just learning how to kick it further and like higher and harder rather than like being an accurate passer to a receiver, basically.
Do you have any, when I was playing, we had 2 really good punters back to back. We had Blake Gillikin, and then we got Jordan Stout right after that. Is there like any type of culture or camaraderie between the groups? Like, have you been able to talk to those guys at all since you've been here?
Yeah, it was good. I was talking to Stout a little bit. It was awesome. I reached out to him, and he was a big help. But I think it more so like it's kind of weird. Like, I have so many friends at so many different places that like we have like so many group chats and messages, and like you could go to a place and I wouldn't even know who the punter is, but I know he's Australian from Pro Kick, and I could reach out and be like, I'm going to be here at this spot. Like, can you help me out with the ticket? And then you meet them and you chat it up and things like that. Danny Pask was actually, I don't know if he would have been before you, I think.
Yeah, I wasn't with him, but I know who
he was the punter here. He was Australian. I didn't know who he was. He didn't know me, but I reached out to him when I kind of got this whole thing rolling, and we've been chatting ever since, and it's been awesome. And I think that's kind of the thing with Australian punters. Like, we all know what we're going through. We're all going through the same things. So, yeah, we definitely have that kind of, like, network to reach out and kind of go over stuff.
That's awesome. Another question I want to ask, I know the weight room is a transition for everybody when they get here to some extent. Were you working out heavy before you got here? Were you lifting hard in Australia? Was there any shock when you got to FAU or Penn State with the programs?
I mean, I kind of knew what to expect. Like, we get told, like, it's different. Like, it's tough. And I think the coaches do a really good job, though, of, like, bringing you in, like, base testing you to find out where you're at and then going from there and just, like, building you up slowly. Like, it's not like coming in and it's like, you're squatting 500 pounds.
Right,
like, they find where you kind of, like, fit, and then they build you up. But yeah, we had a gym coach back home at Pro Kick, CQ Athletics. He was I liked him, but he was a madman. He had us doing like 10 by 10 squat and deadlift. So you're doing 100 reps of each.
Man.
So you do that one time, and you're heading home.
Yeah.
You're going straight back into bed.
I would have did one of those workouts, and we probably would have had to. I mean, he might have got beat up in the park. We might have put some hoodies on.
I mean, I'm grateful now because like those workouts were like. That was tough, and like going into the winter workouts and things like that, I was like kind of mentally prepared to be like, I'm gonna get tested, but like I know that I'm gonna be able to come out and do it. So I'm kind of glad we had those and kind of got tested like that.
So you've done winter workouts here already?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so let's talk
that for you.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
I mean, it was crazy. Like, I was asking, like, how is it? Like, what? And people were like, oh, you're going to die. Like, you're dead. That's how they describe it. You're going to die. Man. And I'm like, oh, man. So we kind of, I went into the first one. I was scared. I was like, this is not going to be good. But I got the first one out the way and I was like, okay, I've got through the first one. I can get through the rest. But, like, I didn't know that, like, every week they get longer and longer. So, like, you think, like, you're getting through it, but it's like, it's worse and worse every time. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, there was one, I actually was standing there and I was like, because you can't, like, bend over and vomit, really. You have to stand up. So I'm, like, standing up, like, vomit dribbling down my mouth, like, dry reaching. Like, I was like, I'm going to die. Like, this is the time I pass out. But you do it and you get it done and you're like, okay, well, it's done.
Do you guys remember your first winter workouts?
Oh, yeah.
Vividly.
Doc, you had any stories on yours?
Probably. So we have like the hoop drill, and like I'm thinking, in high school I'm a pretty athletic guy. Like I move around. I'm probably like one of the faster guys on my team, and we're going through the hoop drill, and I'm getting dominated. Quite frankly, like, the hoop drill, how it's set up, it's like a figure 8, and you like run around the hoop, and you have another guy on the other side doing the same thing, and you finish through. And like it's like whoever we call it the winners, because that's obviously quarterback number 3, compete in everything you do. We compete all winter workout. It's not like you're just running hard. You're competing against someone.
Every race.
That was
wild.
Yes, and I'm out here getting crushed. Like I didn't know who some of these guys were. I'm like, I think I'm ready. I'm like, one thing about me, man. I'm like, I might not be the most talented guy, but I'm gonna work my tail off, and I'm working as hard as I can. I'm getting crushed by like Anthony Wiggin, by Juice Scruggs, and I'm like, man, what is going on?
Yeah.
I'm like, and then Franklin is like, you gotta compete. You have to. You're losing. I'm like, man,
his favorite line is "Stop feeling sorry for me."
That's his
favorite line.
And you don't really get that until like you get older. Like, man, I really was feeling sorry for myself. I'm thinking in my head, how selfish of me, because I'm like, man, how am I gonna be able to get through this? Me and Elzen. So after our first winter workout, me and Elzen went back to Allentown, to like my hometown, for a weekend. I'm like, you know how it is when you come in with your boys, you want them to see your home. Like, you keep trying to get me to go to Australia. I'm telling you, I'm not going.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. I'm sitting on the flight for 24 hours. Probably not to go see that rock. But either way, like, we went back and we were in my house and we fell asleep for 18 hours. Like, he pulled up to my house, like, all right, set up an air mattress. He went to sleep. I went to my room, fell asleep, woke up, went and got dinner. Went back home, fell asleep again, and my mom was getting mad. She's like, "You need to show him Allentown. You need to show him around." We're like, nah, like we're not worried about any of that. We're just trying to sleep. Like it was just, but that's at the end of the day. And we said it before. I'm so grateful that I was able to experience going through winter workouts, even like now, because I know I'm tougher than I ever would have been not experiencing that adversity and pushing my body to a limit that I didn't think I could exceed. And that's college football. You're being asked to do things you don't think you can do, and you accomplish them, and it makes you crave it more. It's like a high almost. Like you're craving to like, how can I challenge myself? How can I be a better version? How can I compete against somebody? And you see that on the field with guys. Like Penn State guys stay in the league for so long.
It's the wins. It's the wins and the loafs for me. Like I was like, I had no idea, and they're like, "Yep." I can't even remember who I went with. But I was getting smoked, like smoked. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, it was because the ones that I did were like running ones, and I was getting like smoked. And then it got to like the kind of like the more power ones where you're pushing, and that's when I kind of found my groove, and I was like, I'm getting some wins here, like this is good. But then like you do those and you're trying your hardest, like I want to win. And then you got the aqua bags at the end. And I was done. I was done. I was done.
I almost threw up all over.
Yeah.
Jerry, tell them about the aqua bags, bro.
Yeah.
See, for me, let's talk about my first winter workout.
Oh, you want to take a step back?
So, Zay, my roommate, me and him, right now he's my roommate, but Nick was my roommate when we first got in. So I'm like, alarm go off at about 5 o'clock. I'm like, Nick, you ready to go? Nick said he's still asleep. His alarm go off, he turned it off. So I'm going to
dangerous game to play, by the way.
I'm going up to get ready to go. So I go to the workout, Nick he walk in about 5 minutes remaining, till it start. So I'm in there. We started warm up lines. Harden and Payton is on. So I look at Zane, he look at me. I'm real excited. I'm hyped up. I'm thinking it's gonna be light. So he bring us up. We're in Auburn. The crowd. So we talk. I'm like, oh man, this gonna be fun. So we started. I just hear a horn, like the sign with the numbers on it, real bright. I'm like, oh man. So we start going. I look to my left. Elsden yelling at the top of his, so I'm with Elsden, linebackers, and tight ends. So I'm with Elsden. Like, Elsden got turf pellets all in his eyes. He yelling at the top of his lungs, talking about, oh, you let us down. So I knocked the cone over one time. He said, you fumbled the ball. You let us down. I'm like, oh. I'm like, man. So,
I like how you can knock the parallels like that.
That was crazy, bro. I'm like, this was kind of eye-opening. I'm like, yo, this is real. He said, I let him down. I fumbled the ball. Like, I knocked the cone over. Like, I didn't know it was that big of a deal. So, I'm going through it. We get to Al Station, the sleds. Like, we pushing them, though.
No.
First two, I'm good. We get to the third push. I'm pushing. My legs just gave up on me. I couldn't move. Still had one more station left, though. So Jamari Button, who's currently, he's not with us right now, but he carried me to the next station. Like, literally, I'm holding on him to the next station. Like, I'm like, I can't do this. No, I can't do it, bro. Like, I can't run. He's like, yes, you can. So I'm going. I just remember I fight for my life waiting for that last horn. I hear the last horn. Like, I just dropped to the floor. I was like, man, this is wild. It's different. Like, it was crazy for me. My first one was crazy.
Did you have a tire pull after that?
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
I actually did my first tire pull was against Rodney McGraw. And I never forget, Coach Frank, he said, do you need to get somebody lighter for you? I said, nah. And I ended up winning the tire pull, and everybody that was the most excited I had been in my life. But after that excitement, I was like dead tired. I realized I was dead tired. Like,
if you randomly just turned on this podcast and heard him just tell his story, you'd be thinking that this guy would just serve the tour somewhere. Yeah. That he was in the military. He's describing a war story.
That's really what it is.
But it feels like that. It feels like you're in the military. Like, it's crazy.
It's so tough explaining winter workouts to people who haven't done them because you sound so soft.
Like, you never really felt like you never really felt vulnerable when you trying to breathe, but you can't breathe. Yeah. And you still have to go full speed. Like, that's a different type of feeling when you can't breatve, but you still have to go.
And then you got to go to class.
And then you got to go to class.
So I'm like, what are we doing? I'm like, teacher asked me questions. I'm like, nah.
Hold on a minute.
No, right now.
A couple things. Number one, Franklin talks crazy during winter workouts. Like, it's not one of them things where it's like, come on, man, you got it. Like, it's like, you're soft. Stop bending over. Are you gonna win a rep? Like, he's talking crazy. That's number one. Number two, you talk about the matchups, like cigar cutter, like the figure 8 drill and water, like all that stuff. It's all competition based. My first winter workout, I had all during the season, my freshman year, I was way too heavy, too much body fat, so I had slimmed down a bunch. So I'm like 255. So I was too light to do the drills against the real D tackles because I was light. I was just faster. I was lighter. So I got matched up with Odafe Owe.
Oh, okay.
On the cigar cutter. This is my first winter workout ever. Okay, now Odafe Owe ran a 4.36 at his pro day. I have never touched a 4 in a 40-yard dash. I'm not a 4 guy. This dude, I'm talking about rep after rep, is like, I'm coming out of the second bend, Odafe Owe is standing with his hands on his hips because he's already finished with the drill. I'm getting talked crazy too. I go into tire pool against Juice Scruggs, who turned into a second-round draft pick.
At 255?
Juice Scruggs at 255. So now the matchups, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it was like they were trying to make an example out of me. Juice Scruggs could have took me not only 10 yards to win the drill, he could have took me to Nittany Apartments, to the Willard building, and he could have took me all the way back to Ohio.
And let's talk about Juice. Juice, I will say, on record, is one of the toughest men on the planet. He might be the toughest one. Yeah. There's not many people that can do what he's done and come back from what he's come back from with his back injury and come back and be as dominant as he is. This guy, we always talk about it. There's weight room strength. There are guys who go in the weight room and can throw a bajillion pounds up in the air, and it's ridiculous to see, like a spectacle. Yeah, no, not me. And then you got guys who have grown man strength that can just grab you and you can't go anywhere or do anything about it. And it's you feel worthless. Yeah. He has grown man strength to a point that no man should have. He gets a hold of you and you can't move. And that's why people were surprised when he went second round, the mock drafts were, but then you see him how he works. And also, I've never seen him get tired before. No. The guy is a robot.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
The guys who were surprised by Juice Scruggs going in the second round have never had to deal with him in pass pro. No. They never had to do a one-on-one with him. I was shocked that he got out of the first 32 picks, the way he did me, PJ, and Judge Culpepper for 4 years. It was a mockery that he made out of us.
Also, can we go back to something you were talking about before, your rugby story? Yeah. How you were going out to the car, your grandpa was picking you up. And how the rugby coach was out there to your mouthpiece and said, come on, son, let's go play rugby.
That's literally what happened. happened.
Channel story. Like, no way that happened. That is a lie.
I put it on everything I love.
There's no way.
So let me take you
in modern day. I don't. If 2014, whenever it was, that the coach was like, you know what, son, you'd be a great rugby player. Come out here. Let's go hit.
Hey, I'm going to
bro.
defend him here. I'm not going to lie, like, because we have a lot of rugby back home too. It's kind of rugby and AFL. The coaches do just like see people and they're like, you know what, you're big, you're strong, come here, we'll take you and we'll teach you. That's what they do that.
Thank you.
So I'll defend you on that.
So rugby at my high school, like it's a powerhouse football and basketball school. As you know, rugby is not a popular sport. So I'm walking by. They don't have a lot of big dogs out there, a lot of real athletes.
Big dog?
So at this point, I'm like 15, right? So at 15, I was probably 6'1", like 230. But I wasn't fat yet. I wasn't a D-line yet. I was just like a big kid. So they throw me a mouthpiece. I go out there, right? My first rugby match, game, whatever. First one. I'm telling you, dog. I'll find the clip so we can put it on here. I didn't know any of the rules. I didn't know any of them. They say, go play.
Like clipping legs and stuff. No. Like, what are you doing?
So I'm playing against St. Edwards, who is nationally ranked rugby program. They throw me out there. This kid has like a breakaway. He's got the rock, and he's about to go score. I'm like, not on my, like, you're not about to just run down on us. So I chase him down, sideline to side. I'll find the clip, and I don't pretend to wrap up. I light this kid up on the sideline and try to send a message. They give me a red card, and they suspend me. I got kicked out of the game and suspended for 2 games. And that was the end of my rugby career. But they threw me the mouthpiece and asked me to play.
I'll say this. Look, we're in the United States, now Australia playing rugby. There's waivers you need to sign to go just play a sport in high school. That's one. So that's a lie. That's not a lie.
We got the waivers signed.
And 2, let's get to another part. You played one, you got suspended. And then you just quit. You were just done. So you're a quitter.
We didn't play a bunch of games. There's not a bunch of rugby programs in the Midwest of America. I was in Ohio. There weren't a bunch of. It was us. It was St. Edwards. I think St. X, Sean Clifford and Liam Clifford's high school might have had a team.
Played one game and that was the end of your career because you guys only played 4 games or something like that.
Yeah. And then next year when I wanted to play, my dad was like, "No, you're not playing rugby. You're a football player. You're going to get hurt playing rugby, and it's stupid."
Leave in the comments if y'all think that's like a believable story.
I'll tell you what. You don't even leave. I will find the clips. I have proof that I went and did this. I have a scar actually above my left eye. Caught an elbow in practice, and they split me open because we don't wear helmets. You
don't need them.
Well, I needed them. I got kicked out, and I had to get stitches.
There's less concussions in AFL than there is in the NFL. That's a fact as well. And we don't wear pads or helmets.
Hey, you put that helmet on.
How many concussion tests are they doing in the AFL?
A lot.
In the part of Australia. You talk about the big old spiders y'all got in the brown snakes. They have time for concussion tests too?
Yeah, we make time for it.
What do they say? Good day, mate. What's the response? Crikey. Okay, you good.
See, this is what you do. You go on with this stuff, like, and then it just starts. I feel like you're just attacking the country. You might not get let in for being so disrespectful.
Wow.
That's actually might be a plausible statement.
We just described spider dinosaur land of rock. And I don't think it's a place I'm that mad to not be let into.
This is what I'm saying. You can't
I'm okay being here at State College than being over there in Rockland.
We don't have a big Australian audience to watch this because we just lost half our viewers.
I love the Australian people. I do. That continent, you got to leave me alone, man.
Yo, you should. I've told him.
He's getting mad.
Hold on. Let me tell you this. So I think I've said this a few times. So like my girlfriend Nat, she was like saw something on Facebook and it was like spiders, dangerous animals, whatever. So she tags me and she's like, I'm never coming. Which is a lie because she's gonna come, but it doesn't matter. She's like, I'm never coming. All these like older Australian people being like, good, we don't want you, like stay away. Like there was like 18 comments like that being like don't come. So
what's
you better
up with
watch yourself, dog.
like the spider season here, like in Australia?
Is there a season for spiders?
There's no season.
No, I seen something like it was just like spider webs everywhere and like spiders just everywhere.
There's spider webs everywhere.
No, I'm saying like it was spider webs everywhere, but it was like spiders everywhere, like on the sidewalks and all that.
It was like
spiders, tarantulas everywhere.
You just like saying spider, don't you?
Spiders, yeah.
Look, and for the people at home, love the Australian people. But did you hear what we just described? Does that sound like a place you want to go?
No, yeah, I definitely.
Are you serious?
So yeah,
like
what is the tourist attraction? Is it just the rock that people go for? What is it? What is the main attraction?
Nah, like I mean, you can go look at the Outback, whatever. Like it's good. Like I haven't really gone and done too much. I haven't even seen the Big Rock myself. I do want to go and see the Big Rock.
So you've not even been to the Big Rock?
No, well, yeah, it's hard. Like I don't know. I didn't have just disposable money to fly to the Big Rock.
Nah, I want to see Australia. I'll go to Outback Steakhouse, get me a little shrimp on the Barbie, and we'll call it a day.
I'm saying you come. I'll take you to the AFL, which you'll be like, okay, this is pretty good. This is like the NFL. The beaches are insane.
With spiders, right?
No spiders at the beaches.
Okay.
Then the food, like we have because we're so multicultural, we have so many different cuisines that you can kind of just get wherever you go.
So what's your favorite food?
I'd probably say like Vietnamese is up there for me.
Yeah.
Like I like banh mi's. Haven't really found a banh mi place around here, which kind of hurts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that. That Greek food is really good as well, and I like Mexican, which you get heaps of here, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just gotta, and just like the way people interact, like the city, like it's just a great place to live. Everyone's nice, like it's good. Everyone's having fun. Sun's out.
You told me
beaches.
that like it's a lot of like stabbings and stuff there.
Oh,
we talked about you told me that you could make it out as like if you had gotten a knife fight, you could make it out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's what you told me.
No, absolutely not.
And he said, no. So this is where I took it. You was talking to me about the gun situation because there's no guns.
No guns.
No guns at all. Like there's no guns. So I was like, if something's gonna happen, you're gonna get stabbed.
Okay.
Like you're gonna get shanked by someone. That's the number one like concern that would happen.
Okay. If there were to be some type of violent crime committed against you,
you're getting
probably
stabbed. But I was saying like, okay, just say something happens here and they've got a gun and the gun's at you, you're done. You're done for. Like they're gonna shoot you, it's over.
Yeah.
If they've got a knife, like at least you've got a shot.
be an athlete.
Yeah.
So
showcase your skills.
So
and
you personally can
disarm them.
You can do that. You can survive that.
I think I could. Well, I did.
What would you do?
For like 22 years.
Right.
Wow.
You didn't get stabbed.
I didn't get stabbed in my 22 years.
Has anyone ever like attempted to stab you before?
There's been some.
what? What investigation are you conducting?
No,
here?
I just want to
Are
see
you
like
crime reporter? What's going on?
No, I just want to see what the skills like. You say you can like avoid that, so
I just know they're there. I know I have them.
You have the skill set.
Yeah, I have the skill set for sure.
Yeah, Hawk, take us out of
No, I mean, last question I want to ask. I was just with my guy Jordan Vandenberg today, and when I was playing, Jordan Vandenberg's entire identity on the Penn State football team was he was the foreigner. He's from South Africa, came to America. So my question is, upon your arrival, do you feel any animosity or maybe some jealousy from Jordan Vandenberg now that title realistically is probably yours?
No, I think it's like we got a really good group of internationals. Like we have a lot. So it was like compared to like a lot of other places that I've spoken to friends, they've been like, no, we don't really, like I'm the only one. So it's kind of been nice here to have like other people that are international and like kind of bounce ideas off. I think like the only person that's really like would be jealous, I think, would be Doc.
okay.
Like, because like I know like he's talking down, like he's attacking me. Obviously, there's something inside of him that he's like, I wish I was Australian. I think that's where it comes from, which is okay.
Australian Billy from Stranger Things over here thinking I'm mad about talking about reality situation. We talked about the real things that are going on in there, and I simply voiced my displeasures with them, and now I'm attacking the country.
The Billy call is crazy because I get that all the time. Like all the time. Like I was getting my hair cut in Florida one time, and the guy was like cutting my hair, and he's like, "Oh, like nice moustache." I was like, "Appreciate that."
Nice moustache.
I was like,
nice moustache.
I said, "Cheers."
Cheers. Feeling real cheeky right there.
And then he's like, "Oh, has anyone ever told you that like you look like that guy from Stranger Things?" I was like, "This is like probably the third time this week that I've heard that." So I'll take it. I'll take that. Yeah. That's a good comparison.
You're a dashing young man.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course, brother.
Riley, it's a pleasure to have had you on the show. I don't know how we didn't do this sooner. This was nothing short of electric. Means a lot to us. To the viewers back home, thank you for tuning in. Stay tuned for more weekly episodes of The Lion's Den. We are officially back. We're going to be back for the rest of the season. Get some merch, link in the description, and stay tuned for future episodes.
Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you, brother.
Yes, sir.